Welcome, painters! It's Friday, which means it's video time. Today, I'll explain how to apply weathering. So if you're ready, let's go for it. First step is primering this towel. I used Vallejo Black Primer, and now I will paint the base color. I will use this green color from the Panzer Aces range. I add a little bit to the blister, and some drops of water, and stir well. We have to get a perfect dilution. We will apply the base color with the airbrush. I will use the Infinity CR Plus, 0.15mm needle, pressures at 1.8 bar. And I will apply thin layers. I apply thin layers until everything is covered well. And here you can see the final result. I applied 2 or 3 thin layers. Next step, I will use a darker green color to add shadows to the armor. The same process, I put a bit of paint on the blister, add water, and mix well. The dilution is crucial. And put it inside the airbrush. Test it out. We see that it works well, so let's apply some shadows to the armor. As always, thin layers. This way, we will get contrast on the armor. Notice I painted the sides of the helmet. A bit on the inside, too, to add a little more depth. And here you can see the final result. Now, we'll apply chipping medium. It's a somewhat thick product, so we have to add a couple of drops of water to avoid clogging the airbrush. Here, I recommend you use a 0.4mm needle, so you will find it easier to apply this product. I was lazy and didn't change the needle, so I'm doing it with the 0.15. You'll notice it's possible to do it using it, but it's a bit more difficult. So I recommend you use a 0.4mm needle when applying chipping medium. Well, let's paint. I'm so sorry for the focus issues. I'm still recording this myself and don't control it very well yet. Then, as you can see, I'm just applying the chipping medium over the whole surface. Here you can see the chipping medium already dry. It took 7 minutes or so. With pale gray blue, I will paint the armor. The same process as always. I put a little color on the plastic blister, add water, and stir. If you have any questions about the dilution, I recorded a video about how to thin down paint. Here's a link, and if you are new to the channel, I recommend you watch it. Okay, I mix it well, and take the airbrush the infinity, and put the paint inside. Test it out. That's very important, guys. Check it. And next, I will apply the base color. Very important to wait until the chipping medium dries. If not, you'll spoil everything. So, very important, let the chipping dry. I did wait for 7 to 8 minutes or so, but if you have any doubt, let it dry more. Maybe 15 minutes. Well, I apply the base color. Notice that they are thin layers. Apply a thin layer, let it dry, and then repeat. This way, I achieve a good result. And here you can see the final result. I applied 3 to 4 thin coats. With ivory from the model color range, I will add a couple of highlights to the armor. Let's put the color on the plastic blister, add water, and stir well. This is the last step with the airbrush, and then we will start working with the brush. To apply the weathering, well, I put the paint inside the airbrush, check it, and highlight. For example, I will highlight the upper part of the helmet with thin layers. Check out in the box how I press down a little and drag the trigger back a little to have more precision. I also highlight the upper part of the shoulder. Also the weapon, the upper part. On the chest, the upper part too. And here you can see the final result. And we have arrived at the weathering step. I put a little water in the bowl, and using an old brush, I moisten it very little, and then I rest the brush on the surface, and I scratch it. Notice the paint starts peeling. That is due to the chipping medium. It is a simple process, as you can see. I rest on the surface and scratch it so the paint lifts off. I focus on the edges, the parts with more erosion. It is that easy. How easy is that? It is not complicated. I scratch to wear it away. You can also use a brush, a wire, or any other thing to scratch the paint a bit, and do what I do, scratches. Super simple. For example, with a wire, I moisten it a little, and I am able to chip it a bit with the finger, okay. Or a scratch. A needle also works, anything. Keep scratching a little. And I won't get tired of repeating that this process is super simple. If you like this technique, I can make more videos talking about it, since with other ways of applying it, you can get more realistic effects. This video is for beginners. I wanted to make it super easy. If you are gamers, if you want to paint an army fast, this is a perfect technique. Base color, apply chipping medium, let it dry, and then apply the base color to the armor. Super simple. If you load too much water, much more paint will peel. Be careful. It is up to you how much erosion or wear you want. I want to put a lot of wear on it here, so I'm scratching more. This is an amazing technique to apply on tanks, vehicles, and so on. Look at the helmet, how I scratched the edge to make the erosion. And here you can see the final result of the first weathering. Now we will define everything. Before adding definition, I will apply matte varnish to protect the work already done. So I put the varnish inside the airbrush. I recommend you use a 0.4mm needle. I didn't change it. I used a 0.15, which is more difficult, so I recommend you use the 0.4mm needle to spray the varnish. My apologies for the focus issue. I keep recording by myself and it shows. This step is very easy. Just cover the whole surface with matte varnish. Let's apply it. 2 or 3 layers are good. Here, you can see the final result, the dry varnish. I painted all of the parts which are not armor with black. I also painted the shoulder pad and the antenna with black red. Now, I will apply some more weathering, but with another technique, using pure black without adding any water. Notice in the box that I unload the brush and then set the brush, for example on the barrel, and drag it almost like a dry brush. This way we simulate scratches on the barrel. As you can see, it is super simple. The trick is to unload the brush properly on the palette or a paper towel. Look at the movement. I just set the brush on the edge and drag it. It is another way to simulate weathering. It's crucial to varnish it beforehand. What if we don't varnish it first? When applying this technique, the paint would peel. I mean, the white color. So, varnish it before applying this technique. We are applying more wear with the black color. Notice this process is very easy, beginner level. If you follow the steps, you will get the same result for sure. Comment below with any questions you may have about the process. Notice it is already starting to look better. With just some touches. I focus more on the areas with more erosion, with more wear. Combining both techniques, chipping medium and this, it's perfect. On the helmet, I focus more on the edges. Look closely. The same on the knee pad, on the edges. And here you can see the final result. Next, we will add definition. Penultimate step. We will apply washes and glazes to define the whole surface. I will use all of these colors, and as I always say, use a wet palette because the colors remain fresh while working. So, put all of the colors, and we'll define the armor. This step is the most time-consuming, but it's necessary. Notice I get the brown wash with a bit of black. I will use this mixture to add definition to the plates. Observe the joints. How I apply this mixture and how it enters the grooves. The brown wash makes the paint flow better and enters all the crevices. I add a bit of black to add that depth. So a mixture of both colors, brown wash and black, works perfectly to add definition to the armor. I also recommend using a brush that has a perfect tip. This will make it much easier for you to apply this definition. And you can already see how these armor plates are being defined. We mark a little more. Also, if you want, we can apply a wash to change the tone of the armor. We can play with all these colors. If it looks too strong, remove it with a moist brush. As you can see, it's easy to correct a mistake. If you have any questions about dilution, how to glaze, or washes, here are some links to cool videos I recorded about glazing and applying washes. I recommend you watch them if you are new to the channel. Well, I keep applying washes. For example, on the barrel I add a little smoky ink. In the grooves, I add more black. I combine them. Here, the important thing is to define all the armor. As you can see, these glazes and washes are necessary to create the weathering effect, to avoid getting a brilliant white. I recommend you spend some time on this step. Look here at the shoulder pad. With just a wash, the color changes. I keep applying more glazes and washes. Come on. We are about to finish this Tau. And here you can see the final result. All that remains is the final step, the magical touches. Final step, I will highlight some chipping. I mix pale gray blue and ivory. You can see it in the box. I mix both colors, and let's highlight some of these chips. Where? On the lower part of the chips, so you create volume. The upper part is the chipping. If we outline the lower part, we will create such a cool volume. And we will get super cool armor. Notice they are light touches. We don't have to highlight all of the chipping, just in some places. To highlight a bit our armor. These touches make all the difference. And here is the final result. I hope you liked the video a lot. If you want more videos about weathering for beginners and more advanced, let me know in the comments. If this video receives a lot of likes, I will continue explaining weathering techniques. Don't forget to share the video with your friends, ring the bell to be notified of the next video. And if you want to know all of the products I use, click on the video description. If you live in Spain, you can get all of the products at Goblin Trader, in France at Hobby Shop, in the United Kingdom at Element Games, and in Mexico at Art Hobby. Guys, paint a lot. And see you in the next video.